fancy I am. I don't know if I like it. I don't like it. I don't think I like it. Look at how bright it is. It's too bright. Turn it down low. How do we fix things? Can we make things different? This is very intimidating. I don't know what's happening. I don't know. Can you hear me? We're trying the new microphone. Oh. Hello. Can you hear me? Yes. Woo. Okay, perfect. Because Miss Rainey is having some technical difficulties. So this why did I do it on this? This doesn't work for me. What was I thinking? I don't like it. I muted myself. Sorry guys, I'm new here. I don't know what's happening. This is so strange. Okay, hold on. I don't like this setup. I don't think I like it. I think I liked when I was able to look at my phone. That way I could look off in the distance because this is strange. Hold on. Guys, I don't know. Anyway, so this little thing is on a swivel. Shit. When the dog came in here, it swiveled and it spilled my drink. So I had to go get a new drink. Thank you. Thank you for waiting patiently. I appreciate you because I needed a new drink. So I had to go back outside to the shop where the whiskey is located with a flashlight because the lights are off. And I wish this could be in a better place. There's so many spices. Anyway, I'm gotta figure this all out. So strange. It's all so weird to me. Hello. Hi, Krills. How are you? Perla, how are you? Mountain Mama, how are you, dear? I don't know if you saw my other email. I haven't checked that other one yet, but I did send you a response to yesterday's little email stuff that we talked about. So I got style. Nice decor. Thank you. I designed this office all by myself. I've got a what you call it? I've got style. You know, technically I'm an interior decorator at heart. I like the nice things. This is why Miss Rainey works so much because you know, I sent you a response. Awesome. I like the video more where it's vertical. Oh no, so this isn't vertical. Oh no, we might have to change this, guys. You can start now. I'm here. I bet, Carolyn. Is this not vertical? Am I horizontal, guys? Because I didn't realize that that was going to be a thing. This is horizontal. Dang it. Hello, Jake. Okay, guys. I'm actually curious how this is going to work because technically the vertical is where it's at, right? I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. You know what? I'm not going to change anything. I don't care today. I don't care. It's not important. That's not what we're here for. So, I usually give it a few more minutes before we start. And this is different for me because you guys are on the computer and on the webcam, and it's uncomfortable because at least the camera, like your phone, it's very small and tiny. And now you can see my whole space. And that's very intimidating to me. Technical difficulties. Be right back. Okay. Yes, I made it for another one. Woohoo! Hello, Scott. You get more viewers. More viewers. Jake doing it vertically. I'm driving, but I'm here listening. Thank you, Nacho. I appreciate it. You made your corners very small. My corners? What do you mean, my corners? Detective Miller is here. Awesome. Yeah, well, I mean, I could change it. We were trying to do something different because we're using the fancy microphone today. So that was kind of the plan. But I'm almost wondering if instead of doing the lives on this, that I stick this and do videos and do the lives through the phone. I'm not going to switch it right now. I it is what it is. I'm not going to make everyone leave and come back cuz that's obnoxious. So the corner is where you hide. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a very small room. What's funny is this used to be our gym and we have way too much gym equipment that it was all crammed in here. And so now it's in the spare bedroom. Leave it. I'm leaving it. I'm leaving it. Brady, how are you? Vertical is better for lies. Yeah, Malcolm, that makes sense. I didn't think it through. And that's okay. I am okay with it. So, let me see what's happening here. Is Rick in the chat? Rick, are you here? Rick's not here. Okay. I'm good. We're hanging in here too. We got some other stuff happening in this world, so it's all good. Push this forward, figure out my see, I keep muting myself. Hang in there like a hair in a biscuit. Ooh, I got a visual on that one. Ariel, how are you? Malcolm, I appreciate that. Let's give Miss Rainey a thumbs up. Hello. Just here for the ride. Hello, hello. It is funny though, but I did get a visual. Um, I did get a visual. Ugh, a friend of mine isn't a friend anymore, attempting to force me to like them. Yeah, don't force any friendships, that's for sure. Then like and sub people, all free to do so. Absolutely. Let's get caught in your teeth. Oh, let's gets. I'm just as bad as fools not being able to read. Where's Subi? I don't know. All right, we've been in here for about 7 minutes. I should start. So I also need to figure out how to use this thing. This thing is very complicated. Um, that's a whole nother thing that I tried to figure it out, and fools just told me to use it, and we're gonna have to spend some time looking at things to figure that out. So I have one of those. Really? DJI. Ariel, how do you like it? Google it. I know it came with instructions as well, but it's it's pretty fancy. And I'm like, well, how? Anyway, it's fine. It's sick. Nice. 7 minutes. I know, Malcolm, it goes quick. All right, so I have a big story that I will do for you guys. It's if any of you have seen on my original crime channel, the Chaos and Criminals, I did a little snidbit on that channel, and that was actually going to be the big story I will cover here. I'm upset. I never got around to it just because there's a lot of editing and whatnot that I needed to do on that video. So I'll just speak it out loud. It's kind of sort of long. I had done my own commentary on it. I didn't finish all of it, but I'd like to cover that one because that one is insane. So I have. But we will get this party started. So, if anyone's new here, which I don't think anyone is, I appreciate you all for being here, first of all. And trigger warning, we're going to talk about unaliving potential, well, definitely child neglect, abuse. Um, and we will talk about APE, SA, and all the bad things that are going on in the world currently, because unfortunately it's happening and someone needs to put it out there. I know there are a lot of places that put it out there. My gosh, that's so bright. Turn down the brightness, lady. So, oh, that's too dark. Oh, that's because that's my thing. Um, so yeah, trigger warning. If anyone has issues, feel free to scroll. I totally understand if you have gone through those things and it brings back some stuff. So, so the first article I will cover. I really don't like that I can't see myself. It is making me upset inside. Hello, sense of wonder. How are you? You know who I was thinking about lately that we haven't seen? Lori. We haven't seen Lori in a while. The chick who made all the homemade stuff and was a stay-at-home mom. I miss her. Unless, nope, sense of wonder is not her. Um, but yeah, I haven't seen her in a while. You can't scroll when you're horizontal. I know. Well, everyone told me not to change it, so I'm not going to change it. We're just going to keep it. Do I change it or do I keep it? You guys tell me. We're stuck here. Okay, here we go then. If you guys decide to scroll away, I understand. All right, the first one is I Feel Like Dexter. Teen obsessed with horrorcore rap lured 13-year-old girl to woods where he raped and murdered her as part of his fantasy. I really don't like this because where's my half screen? Because I can't see what you guys are trying to say to me while I'm reading. This is very obnoxious. Okay, wait. Maybe we can. Hold on. Come on. There we go. Okay, I got it. An Oregon jury convicted a runaway teen who murdered and raped a 13-year-old girl after luring her to where he had been living in the woods and where he also kept a shrine to a horrorcore rapper and a diary that professed his love for a fictional serial killer. Daniel Ryan Gore, who's 18, was found guilty of first-degree murder, rape, and sexual abuse in the 2022 death of 13-year-old Milana Lee. The Washington County District Attorney's Office said prosecutors told jurors that Gore was a wolf in sheep's clothing who gave Milana a false sense of security. Milana was last seen alive around 7:45 p.m. Monday, May 8th, 2022. Her mother reported her missing the next day after returning home from her overnight shift at work and learning she had never showed up at school. The mother and one of her daughter's friends went to a nearby wooded area in Beaverton, a suburb of Portland, where they found some of Malia's clothes. They called police, who started searching the area. Cops quickly found the girl's body half submerged in a creek under a blanket. She had been strangled. Investigators discovered packaging related to the blanket in Gore's tent. After identifying Gore, then 16, as a suspect, Beaverton police tracked him to a library 2 days after the slaying. He tried to escape out of an emergency exit, but officers caught him. Detectives later learned that the defendant had called his then girlfriend the night of the murder and told her something bad had happened, but he took care of it. According to a courtroom report from the newspaper, Gore had run away from his home in Salem several months prior to the murder. He and Milana became friends and spent the night in question aimlessly riding a bus before he took her to the woods for her fatal encounter. After the murder, Gore reportedly tried to establish an alibi by going to a friend's house and sending Milana text messages. He also told several people that he and Milana went their separate ways earlier in the night. But surveillance videos showed and cell phone data showed the pair had been together all along. I hear the dog. While processing the scene in and around Gore's tent, investigators reportedly found an ode to the rapper 7XVN, who is known for his horrorcore music, which touches on violent subjects like cannibalism. His latest track on YouTube is a song called I Want to Eat Your Face. Gore reportedly had etched in a tree symbols tied to the rappers, along with a skull mask associated with him. Cops also reportedly found a diary with the phrase, I feel like Dexter, referencing the fictional TV serial killer from the Showtime series, Dexter. There were also searches on his phone about sexual assault. Prosecutors said the killing wasn't about his enjoyment of horrorcore rap. It was his choice to take a vulnerable girl who trusted him and followed him into the woods and act out his fantasy. Gore's attorney tried to plant seeds of reasonable doubt into the minds of the jurors by noting cops did not find the victim's DNA on the client's clothing. There was DNA from an unidentified male on her clothes and underneath one of her fingernails. How could he possibly have essayed her and murdered her when there's not a cell of DNA evidence on his person? We know who the killer is. We have his DNA. We just have to find him. But the jury didn't buy the defense argument and came back with a guilty verdict in less than 90 minutes. Gore is to be sentenced on December 2nd. And the victim left behind two siblings, including a younger sister. So that's kind of crazy. No DNA evidence. Wonder what will happen. Who will be removed? What happened? What's going on? I have nothing but moderators in here. That's awesome. I've got a few. The mods are the only one talking. Hello, Donna. Good. Glad that you're here. All right, let me get out of this one. Let's move this one over. Do you have a Cash App? Actually, yes, I do, fools. I will give that to you later. Actually, fools, I have Zelle. You know how to use that one. It's all good. So that works. I am here. Hello, go. I am here driving. Miss Queen, don't text and drive. Be safe. All right. So this one will absolutely speak about children. So a child. My apologies. It's kind of part of the process. So the title reads Murder, Torture, and Child Abuse. California couple accused of unaliving 10-year-old adopted son. Glad you got a Cash App so you can send me that dono. No, I have the Cash App. You send me the dono, fools. A couple in California is accused of abusing, torturing, and unaliving their adopted son, with the 10-year-old being rushed to a hospital in medical distress before dying several hours later, according to police. Alondra Martin, 51, and Juan Sanchez Moreno, 59, have been arrested on felony murder and torture charges, including one count of willfully causing or permitting harm to a child, according to the Riverside County Sheriff's Office. The couple was booked on Friday, November 22nd, following an investigation by the department's Central Homicide Unit and Special Victims Unit. On November 21st, deputies responded to a call of a 10-year-old boy in medical distress at a home at the 1300 block of Malibu Court in Moreno Valley. Authorities found the child and rushed him to a local hospital where he was stabilized. Several hours later, the juvenile's health declined and he was pronounced deceased at the hospital. Based on the circumstances, the Riverside Sheriff's Central Homicide Unit was requested to respond and assumed the investigation. The circumstances, according to cops, included visible signs of neglect and abuse documented by SVU and the Sheriff's Office Central Homicide Unit. It is unclear how the couple tortured the boy. Through the joint investigation, the juvenile's adopted parents, identified as 51-year-old Alejandra and 59-year-old Juan, were arrested for murder, torture, and child abuse. The couple was being held at the Robert Presley Detention Center in Riverside on Sunday without bail, according to jail records. Alejandra is scheduled to appear in court on Tuesday, while Juan's case records have not been made public yet. And that was it. That's all we know. We know nothing. We read something and now we know nothing. We know there are shitty people out there, and they did not give us any details. Y'all okay? Everyone's all right. All right. I'm glad you are. Fantastic. Okay. The next one is violently and viciously attacked. Football star who stalked and stabbed ex-girlfriend 15 times learns his fate. Sitting emotionless in a Florida courtroom with his parents watching, former high school football star Spencer Pearson was handed a life sentence on Friday for butchering his ex-girlfriend in 2023, stabbing her more than a dozen times and leaving her paralyzed before slicing his own throat. This court does not impose a sentence based on vengeance. There are just certain crimes that are committed that merit the maximum sentence possible, and this court finds that this is one of them. Hi, Bill. Smith's sentence was delivered in a packed St. Johns County courtroom after Pearson, who is 20, pleaded guilty to attempted first-degree murder with a weapon and aggravated battery causing serious bodily injury with a weapon in July. Pearson's ex-girlfriend, Madison, who was 17, was left paralyzed and dependent on a cane to walk as a result of his brutal assault after suffering injuries to her spinal cord. A GoFundMe created for her last year described the teen as a rising senior and a star softball player. Her mother, Jackie, was also stabbed by Pearson, as was a bystander who tried to intervene. Rogue reportedly filed a criminal complaint against him for stalking and harassment less than 1 week before the near-fatal onslaught. Pearson had also tried taking his own life only weeks earlier. This defendant launched a vicious attack on a 17-year-old girl who had done nothing but show him love, and only weeks earlier had done her part to try to save his life when he attempted suicide. The same person who had tried to save his life, he violently and viciously attacked. Pearson's age, mental health, and lack of criminal history were all cited by his defense team as reasons for why Smith to go below the minimum sentence for his crimes. I have considered the circumstances that have been well presented by the defense in this case. The court has carefully thought and weighed and considered your client's age, his lack of any prior criminal history, the fact that he was suffering from clearly a depressive state of mind when this happened at his age. But the crime that was committed, the impact that this crime has had, it just far outweighs any of the mitigation that the court has considered. While reading this decision out loud, Pearson's parents could be heard gasping and sobbing from the courtroom gallery, with his father shouting, "Oh God," repeatedly. Pearson, who did not appear to cry, was allowed to hug and say goodbye to them. "You are sentenced to serve the remainder of your life in prison," Smith told Pearson, who stared straight ahead with a cold and emotionless look on his face as his parents broke down behind him. The former high school star bore a large score scar on his neck from his alleged suicide attempt after the June 2023 attack. I've thought about this day, this moment, this statement for the last 538 days, living in true torment. According to Pearson's arrest warrant, the girl and her mother met up with some friends at Mr. Chubby's Wings in Point Vedra Beach on June 3rd. Once seated, they noticed Pearson, who was allegedly stalking and harassing her after a breakup, sitting at a nearby table. The mother and daughter chose to leave the restaurant, but Pearson followed them out into the parking lot and then charged at her. The defendant held the juvenile victim with one arm and stabbed her approximately 15 times. A witness told is what a witness told investigators. Cops said the mother tried pulling Pearson off of her daughter and in the process got stabbed in the forehead and leg. Jesus. A random stranger in the parking lot who stepped in was able to pull Pearson away from the pair and was stabbed as well. After being dislodged, the defendant sliced his own throat several times, telling witnesses he was attempting to kill himself. What is going on? Ariel's in the sky. Pearson's family and lawyers later cited mental health problems for causing the near fatal attack, pointing to head trauma he sustained while playing football, which they claim led to chronic traumatic injury. Pearson's legal team referred to him as a star athlete who got hit roughly 10,000 times during his playing days. His parents offered up apologies at his sentencing. And to her mother. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, said his father. I know you've had to go through a world of hurt and just dealing with all of this. I'm sorry. I pray for you to have peace and forgiveness. And I just can't say I'm sorry enough. You all don't deserve this. And that's the end of that one. Sentenced to life for the attempted murder. Pro, hello. How are you? All right, let's move this one over. What is happening to this chat? It's not working. Okay. You like the green ones. I don't know what the green ones are. What's happening? Okay. 3 charged in death of elderly woman found stuck to mattress infested with cockroaches, bed bugs, and feces. Green crayons. Oh. A Massachusetts daughter, granddaughter, and nurse are accused of extreme neglect that led to the death of an elderly woman found stuck to a mattress, infested with cockroaches, bed bugs, and feces. Eva Cardoso, who is 53, Kayla Cardoso, 31, Lisa Hamilton, 64, face charges of manslaughter, caregiver neglect of an elderly, larceny, and Medicaid fraud, and the death of 79-year-old Denora Cardoso. Hold on, I need to shut this heater off. Oh, please. Picks up way too much noise. Eva Cardosa, the victim's daughter, was hired as Denora Cardosa's personal care attendant, a PCA. Kayla Cardosa, the victim's granddaughter, and Eva Cardosa, the niece, was the elder Cardosa's healthcare proxy and PCA program surrogate. The women allegedly billed MassHealth for services that were not provided, including for services alleged provided while Denora was inpatient and after her death. Additionally, bank records show that Eva regularly provided a portion of her PCA check to Kayla. MassHealth paid Eva over $140,000 for her PCA care of Denora. The case came to light on May 17th, 2023, when Eva called 911 to report her mother needed an ambulance. First responders say they found the victim covered in cockroaches, bedbugs, and feces at a senior housing complex. The news reported that the conditions were so bad that the victim was stuck to the skin, encrusted bedding. So bad that the victim was stuck to the skin encrusted bedding. First responders could not separate the woman from the mattress. So authorities had to take her and the mattress to the hospital where she could be separated from the bed. Oh my. She died 2 days later at a hospital due to infected ulcers. 7 days before the 911 call, a registered nurse reported after a visit that the woman had been clean, well cared for, alert, and that her excuse me, that her diabetes was controlled. Oh my. Hold on. Miss Rainey is a snack. Okay. Only if it's a zebra cake. She made no mention of pressure, ulcers, feces, bedbugs, or cockroaches. Hamilton's report alleged the EMT and hospital records that clearly showed Denora had completely uncontrolled diabetes and that the level of insect infestation she had experienced would have taken at least several weeks to accumulate. Oh my gosh, that's the end of that story. I was excited to read more. Um, well, I hate how these stories end. It makes me very upset. Um, so that's the end of that story, guys. Sorry to leave you hanging. That happened down here to an elderly person. But that happens, unfortunately, in more places than they report about. A lot of, I don't want to say a lot, there are a lot of wonderful, wonderful caregivers, but there are also those that are out there that are taking care of the elderly and are just awful, taking them for what they have, their money, their belongings, their possessions, their jewelry, everything that they've worked for. Perla, that's okay. I appreciate you. All right. Bashed her skull in with a rock. Twisted an evil coward who was hunting for females on University of Georgia's campus gets life in prison for killing nursing student. Google the follow-up. I could, Miss Queen. Not right now though, because I've already exited out of it. And I will have to do that. More times than not, when I try to do that, they don't have an updated story. They might have worded it better, but there's no update. A Venezuelan national in the United States without documentation, let's make sure we put all that in there, when he brutally killed a nursing student at the University of Georgia, will spend the rest of his life in prison. Jose, who's 26, learned his fate on Wednesday in the death of Laken Riley, 22, when she was out for a jog on campus. The defendant was sentenced right before being found guilty of murder, aggravated assault with intent to rape, kidnapping with bodily injury, obstructing or hindering a person, making an emergency telephone call, tampering with evidence, and being a peeping Tom. As an undocumented immigrant, Jose's case drew national attention, so I'm sure some of you know about this. Riley's mother, Allison Phillips, took to the defendant to task. There is no end to the pain, suffering, and loss that we have experienced or will continue to endure. This sick, twisted, and evil coward showed no regret for Laken for human life. We are asking the same to be done to him. The killing happened on February 22nd, the day Jose looked into the window and spied upon a woman in an apartment at the University of Village Housing building. Authorities said he did not know Riley. The case was a crime of opportunity, and he lived in an apartment adjacent to the forest where Riley was killed. The case came to light when UGA police responded to a call at 12:07 p.m. on February 22nd from a friend of Riley saying she had gone for a run um, at the intramural fields earlier in the morning and had not returned as expected. Once at the recreational area that includes several athletic fields, tennis courts, and trails for running and biking, first responders searched the surrounding area and quickly found Riley in the forested area behind Lake Herrick. An affidavit said the victim's body lay on the ground in the woods. She appeared to be unconscious and not breathing. She had visible injuries, and officers immediately began CPR. Emergency medical responders arrived and determined she was deceased. At his trial, prosecutors said he was hunting for females on the University of Georgia's campus when he encountered Riley. When Laken Riley refused to be his rape victim, he bashed her skull in with a rock repeatedly. His defense attorney tried to argue the evidence against Jose was circumstantial, but prosecutors said that Jose's DNA was found under Riley's fingernails, and investigators got the defendant's thumbprint off of her phone screen. Surveillance footage caught him trying to dispose of evidence. Riley was a student at UGA through the spring 2023 semester before transferring to the Augusta University College of Nursing program in Athens, where she had been enrolled at the time of her death. Her killing drew national attention after news surfaced that Jose, a Venezuelan citizen, had unlawfully crossed into the US in 2022, entering through El Paso, Texas, before being detained and released. The case also prompted lawmakers to push for the Laken Riley Act to put into place stricter immigration rules by mandating U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement detain undocumented people accused of certain crimes. In March, the bill passed with 37 Democrats joining all Republicans in support. While we can't bring Laken back, we must now turn our focus to doing whatever we can to prevent this from happening to another American. The Laken Riley Act is a piece in our fight to restore the rule of law and get illegal aliens off our streets. Colleagues, today we act on behalf of those who are no longer with us because of Joe Biden's policies. Let's continue to pray for her family and friends as they grieve her loss and resolve to continue to fight for the American people against the lawlessness created by this administration. Let's ensure justice for Laken Riley. Hello, Sandy. So that was that, my friends. What was her name? What was whose name? Because I exited out of it. So that one's gone. All right, we've got a few more. I don't know if this one is a full on. Oh my, look at all these ads. Awful. 2 just sucks. Okay, Tanner. Whatever you say. Hold on. What is happening here? Get out, get out, get out, get out. These ads. Why are these ads here? Is it really not going to let me? Hold on, guys. All right. You should have done, restart. You should have had some money, bitch. Woman allegedly stabs McDonald's drive-through customer in the face with a screwdriver. That's how that starts. Oh my goodness. Where'd you guys go? Okay, you're here. I thought I lost you. Wrong tab. All right. A woman using the drive through at a McDonald's in Memphis, Tennessee, was attacked by another woman who allegedly stabbed her in the face with a screwdriver. Ashley Davis, 39, is in custody after Memphis Police Department officers arrested her for following an alleged assault on the unnamed victim who was treated at the scene. According to statements the victim reportedly gave to the police on November 20th, Davis was looking for money and approached the victim's stopped vehicle while she was at the speaker box to place her food order. When the victim told Davis she didn't have any money, Davis allegedly pulled out what the victim believed was a screwdriver, stabbing her in the face, and then said, "You should have had money, bitch." Okay. Davis then apparently walked away from the parking lot. Police responded to the scene and witnessed Davis running down a nearby street. After chasing her, Davis allegedly resisted arrest and physically fought with the officers. She was eventually taken into custody and held at the Shelby County Jail on a $25,000 bond. Davis was charged with aggravated assault and resisting official detention. She is due in court on December 5th. No caps. So there was that one. Uh-oh. What did JFK do now? He's doing the thing. What happened? What is going on? What happened with JFK? Sibby. What happened? I'm like, what happened? I don't know why I'm always in this room and I get so stuffy. Caps, caps, caps. Everyone's capping. All right. I did not shoot you in the right places. Wrong button. Well, did you fix it? Did you fix him? It's fine. I did not shoot you in the right places. Woman allegedly begs to visit romantic sunset spot and then shoots her boyfriend multiple times before apologizing about her marksmanship. A Texas woman was recently released from jail after she allegedly lured her longtime boyfriend to a field and then shot him repeatedly. Alexis Pinto, who's 23, stands accused of one count of aggravated assault over the incident that left Elvis Muniz with multiple gunshot wounds across his body and a bullet in his back for months. The shooting occurred on September 5th. The victim in recovery has been struggling to come up with a reason for the violence ever since. Pinto was initially upset with her boyfriend, who is a mechanic, on the day in question after one of his clients showed up at their residence with a car for him to work on, according to the criminal complaint filed by the Houston Police Department. When Muniz explained the nature of his work, Pinto allegedly flew into anger, Pinto allegedly flew into a higher state of rage, trying to hit her boyfriend and managing to kick one of the dogs instead. Muniz intercepted the attack by grabbing his girlfriend's wrists and advising her to be calm. I'm so confused. Hold on. I got an ad. Hold on. Ad. Okay. Pinto allegedly demanded to know why Muniz touched her before shifting her outward state on a dime to ask him if he recalled a specific place they once enjoyed the sunset together. I don't know who wrote this. It's shitty. Muniz did remember the place, a field he would later tell law enforcement. Pinto allegedly insisted he take her there immediately. That's random. At the requested intersection of Highway 288 and Airport Boulevard, Muniz stopped the car, according to the court document. Then Pinto got out and began to run away down a hill. As Muniz called to her, she allegedly called back. Come here. So he did. Then he caught up with her. Then it got weirder. And the fact the way that this is written is just weird as it is. Hello, web shooter. Teach me about deer hunting, the woman allegedly said, prompting a question from her boyfriend just before he was shot in the chest. The complaint relays what allegedly happened next. Stupid ass N word can be heard from the defendant as she straight shot me. The complaint stated the defendant was said to have held the black gun in a tilted manner. It was then stated that he was in a state of disbelief, then thought he had to run away. Stated the defendant shot him again. When he turned around to face the defendant, he received another hit on his other hand from the gun held by the defendant. Then he stated he held his chest and ran from the defendant. Then he slips and falls, then looks up at the sky, waiting for the defendant to shoot him again. As he laid on the ground, bleeding and in pain, he thinks in what he feels are his final moments. Oh my God, it's not my time. What did I do? What did I do? Next, Muniz says Pinto called someone on her phone to lie and say he shot her. The injured man then shouted that he didn't do such a thing. Call an ambulance, baby. Call the ambulance, Muniz implored to Pinto, to which she allegedly replied, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do you like that. I didn't shoot you in the right places. Confused again, Muniz was still prepared for the worst. He then held his hand over his face as it appeared likely Pinto was gunning for the right place. This time, while protecting his head, he was shot in the hand. Muniz screamed for her to call an ambulance again. I didn't mean to do you like this. It was supposed to be quick, Pinto alleged. Good night, Subi. Eventually, with some Pinto allegedly helped the wounded man back into his truck before getting him to a nearby Citgo gas station where strangers got Muniz the help he needed. Pinto was arrested on September 20th after an unrelated disturbance call turned up the existence of a warrant for aggravated assault. Bail in this case was originally set for $75,000, but recently lowered to $10,000. The state initially requested a $50,000 bail and then upped their request to $1 million. On the same day, Muniz got the bullet out of his back. Pinto got out of jail. All he ever did was love her. Now the victim says he fears for the safety of his friends and family. She's a danger to the community, to children, to family, and to friends, and to me as well. She's not just a danger to me or my friends because she knows where several of my friends stay at home, but most importantly, my family. I have nieces, my sister, my nephew, my mom, and my dad. And that's it. Shut up, fools. Anyway, whoever wrote that one, Colin Klombacher, you're shit. Sorry, Colin, you didn't write a good article. That was so choppy and all over the place. All right, we're 48 minutes. I've got, let's see, let me look. Hold on. What is this? That's not even a thing. What just happened? Yep, that's not a thing. Let's get out of this one. Chester. Well, hello, Chester. Nope, we're not going to do this one. All right. I've got one, and then I've got my big one. Okay. Hopefully they wrote this one a little bit better. Prayers to the community. All right. Jesus. Okay, this is about, my friends, this is about a child, and I apologize. All right. Mom tried to unalive daughter by throwing her head first down the stairs. Stop it. Telling the victim she was going to be sacrificed. Longbeard, I appreciate you. That is for the Miss Rainey Name Change Fund. Thank you. Love you. Love you so much for the name change. $2 does not make me holler. Thank you. Okay. Anyway, she was going to be sacrificed, please say. A 42-year-old mother in Michigan has been arrested for allegedly biting her own daughter on the neck and strangling the child before throwing her headfirst down a flight of stairs. Phoenix, hello. Jennifer Lynn Vargas was taken into custody earlier this month and charged with 1 count of assault with intent to murder and 1 count of first-degree child abuse, court records reviewed by Law and Crime. Both charges carry a maximum sentence of a life prison. I'm a little more pricier than that, Carolyn, but who's counting? The incident took place just a few minutes before midnight on November 8th, 2024, inside Vargas's home in Blair Township, according to a report. Township is about 160 miles northwest of Lansing. Per the report, troopers with the Michigan State Police responded to the home where they made contact with Vargas and the victim, who were outside the driveway. Investigators then interviewed the 2 individuals separately. The victim's name and age have not been released, but police did clarify that she is Vargas's daughter. The victim reportedly told authorities that Vargas attacked her, hitting her several times, strangling her, and then throwing her down a flight of stairs. Authorities reportedly noted that the victim had at least 1 visible bite mark, as well as a cut on her hand, which she claimed was the result of her and Vargas struggling over a knife. In addition to her visible injuries, the victim also reportedly said that she had lost consciousness multiple times due to being strangled by her mother. Emergency medical personnel transported the victim to the medical center. Stop it, Miss Queen. Stop it. That's enough. We're not here for that. We're not here for hollering. Woo! Oh, that's for Carolyn. Oh, why, thank you, Phoenix. I appreciate you. After being thrown down the stairs, the victim reportedly said that she pretended to be unconscious. When Vargas turned away, the victim reportedly said she ran to a nearby bedroom and locked the door. As the victim attempted to escape the home through a window, Vargas allegedly... You hear the door? You hear the dog? Where am I? Okay. Through a locked door, held her down on the bed and strangled her again. While strangling the victim, Vargas allegedly told the victim she was going to be sacrificed. Vargas is currently being held in the Grand Traverse County Jail in lieu of a $250,000 bond. A judge ordered her to have a no contact order placed on her, the victim, and stay at least 500 yards away from her. She is scheduled to appear in court for a preliminary hearing at 11 a.m. on December 2nd. Woohoo! Good news. The child is still with us. That is good news. All right. So this is the bigger case that we are going to cover. Miss Rainey needs to take a puff, and I don't ever do it on screen. And I saw Mountain Mama do it, and Mountain Mama, you're brave. I don't know why I don't do it on screen. I just don't like it. I just don't. I don't know why. I'm weird. I'm crazy. Everyone's already judging me. It's fine. Just remind me never to do this like this again, because this is not, I've been waiting months for this. I know, Carolyn, I am so sorry. It is my fault. Absolutely my fault. You've seen my life. Shit, you see it all the time. You know what life I'm living? Okay, so this is the story of Evil Eyes. This is a serial killer. And Carolyn, you may or may not have known who it was, but I've got let me just let me pull up my little notes here that I had written for this. So, if you guys have listened to the Chaos and Criminals little snippet, it started like this. So, it started with most of his victims were thin, attractive, white women. He would kill them by strangulation, stabbing, bludgeoning, and sometimes drowning, all chosen at random. His youngest victim was 14, with the oldest being 44. Most of these murders took place between 1974 and 1982. This happened in multiple jurisdictions within Michigan and even a few other states. No one had any idea that he was a serial killer for almost 8 years. So that is, I think, my beginning of the Chaos and Criminals. What is happening? Where's my face? Where did my face go? What just happened? I'm telling you, my life is a disaster over here. I don't know what's happening. So it's on your head. What's on my head? What is happening? Where did my notepad go? There it is. Put it on the top. All right. Carl Eugene Watts was born on November 7th, 1953, in Killeen, Texas, to Richard and Dorothy Watts. Carl's father was a private first class in the U.S. Army, and his mother was a devoted kindergarten art teacher. Carl ended up adopting the nickname Coral, since that was the Southern pronunciation for his name. Just a few days after Carl was born, his parents moved to West Virginia, where they had originally grown up and ended up having a second child, a baby girl named. Fools, where are you? Excuse me, friends. Hold, please. Yep. I'm like, fools, where are you? What happened? Well, I just thought it sounded like something banged on the wall. I can never do a lot like that again. That was just you get worth it. You get worth it for long. For videos, yes, but not a lot. Yes, go. Stop it. Everyone can hear me. The microphone picks up all the sound. That's fantastic. I could hear myself on Fool's phone. Got 525 on the cat. Yes, I will tell you the cat will always win because Chaos is a little girl. All right. Second child, baby girl named Sharon. Unfortunately, the marriage for Dorothy and Richard wasn't going so well, and they ended up getting a divorce in which Carl was then raised by his mother. Dorothy, Carl's mother, didn't give up on love, though. 9 years later, she ended up remarrying a man by the name of Norman Caesar and had two more children. They ended up moving to Inkster, Michigan, where they would settle down. Carl contracted meningitis when he was just 8 years old. It was so bad that he nearly died. He ended up undergoing spinal taps and had multiple physicians checking in on him during his hospital stay. It was noted that his body temperature was so high during his illness that they believed it was going to cause brain damage because of it. This is where I believe everything started. Since the meningitis had taken a toll on Carl, he was actually held back a grade due to his mental state. It was said that after his illness, his family members noticed a change in his personality, describing him now as bashful, quiet, and introverted, which wasn't even something that was a thing for him. His attention span had dropped and his memory was very poor. He was bullied in school and could only read at an elementary grade level while in his teens. He had experienced chronic sleeplessness. I can do that. And started having extremely violent dreams about battling off and killing the wicked spirits of women which would interrupt his sleep almost nightly. When Carl turned 12, keep in mind, this is a 12-year-old. He started having sleep induced fantasies of torturing and killing girls and young women at the age of 12. Due to these weird thoughts and dreams he was having, it is believed that Carl started becoming violent towards females by the age of 15. The earliest crime known is when Carl was on his paper route and encountered a 26-year-old woman. Carl knocked on her apartment door, and when she answered, he beat and abused her violently. Luckily, she survived and was able to contact authorities who immediately apprehended Carl at his home. Since he was underage, he was ordered to undergo psychiatric treatment at a mental hospital in nearby Detroit. During his stay at the mental hospital, the psychiatric evaluation was eventually disclosed years later to the courts. In regards to dreams and nightmares that he was having during this time, he was asked if these violent dreams disturbed him, and he was quoted saying, "No, I feel better after I have one," and also claimed that they were not nightmares because he actually enjoyed them. When he was asked about what his motivation was for assaulting the women after knocking on her apartment door, his response was he just felt like beating someone up. He just felt like, where am I? Where am I? Where am I? Some of his assessments showed that he had an intellectual disability. His IQ was 75. He had a delusional thought process and was eventually diagnosed with antisocial personality disorder. But a detective who interrogated Carl after his arrest for the assault on the woman said that he appeared to be very intelligent and had an excellent memory. The psychiatrist reported that Carl was an impulse individual who had a passive aggressive orientation to life, and he is struggling for control of the strong homicidal impulses. His psychiatrist said that he posed a threat to society and hoped he would benefit from outpatient therapy. For this particular assault, he was released a short time later on his 16th birthday. Going forward, he would visit this same hospital 9 more times before his arrest. Carl ended up graduating from high school at the age of 19, and crazy enough, he had a full ride scholarship to college in Tennessee. Carl said that exercising allowed him to get his suppressed anger out. And because of that, he was an all star football player and had even greater success in boxing, where he became a Golden Gloves fighter. But that didn't last very long. Just after 3 months of enrolling into college, he was asked to leave because he was charged with stalking and assaulting women on campus. During his short stint in Tennessee, it was believed that Carl was the suspect in a violent killing of a female student. Unfortunately, there was not enough evidence to hold him accountable for the crime, but this was another reason for his expulsion from the college. From Tennessee, Carl moved to Kalamazoo, Michigan, and this is where many of his assaults and attacks on women took place. On October 25th, 1974, Carl knocked on Lenore's apartment door. He called out for Charles, which was the name of one of his siblings. Lenore came to the door, opened it, and let him know that Charles was not there, but would he like to leave a note? And he responded with yes. And she unchained the door to go in to grab a pen and paper for Carl to leave a message on. Carl made his way inside her apartment and choked Lenore into unconsciousness. Fortunately for Lenore, she survived and alerted police. But unfortunately, once they arrived, they were unable to find the attacker. So hold on, guys, because that was that. Well, shit, I wasn't prepared. Those were all my notes that I wrote for my thing. But after that, Carl ended up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I have a list of 30 plus women. It is suspected that he had killed between 14 to 100 plus. What I will tell you, hold on, because I have it in my notes, guys. What is happening with this stupid computer? Not now. So, hold on, just a moment. All right, so I'm mad because now I'm all jumbled up here. Hold on, friends. Just a moment. Just a moment. Okay. So let me read this here. Hold on. I got ads and all the things. All right. Is Charles here? Wearing a miniskirt and platform shoes, Gloria Steele, who was 19, lay sprawled on her back in the apartment, eyes open and lifeless. As police in Kalamazoo, Michigan examined the crime scene on October 30th, 1974, friends sat on the couch crying hysterically. African American and the mother of a 3-year-old, Steele had been stabbed 33 times in the chest, an attack so ferocious that a piece of steel had lodged in her spine. There had been no robbery or sexual assault and no witnesses, but Watts, now 20, would quickly become a suspect. In the 5 years since his last arrest in 1969, Watts had returned for outpatient treatment to the Lafayette Clinic fewer than 10 times. He had stayed out of trouble with police during his high school years, though he often used drugs, mostly marijuana, speed, and pills. Watts had few friends and felt uncomfortable talking to police, ending up in the principal's office several times because of the conflicts. Um, let's see. So when he's back in Jackson, Tennessee, football scholarship. Um, a few months after enrolling at WMU, he had visited the Lafayette Clinic, indicating that his problems were the same as before. A psychological evaluation of Watts done at the time concluded this individual is struggling with conflicts in the area of sexuality and sexual identity. Homosexual concerns may be present, rejection and denial are being unsuccessfully employed, and more primitive thoughts and fantasies threaten to break him. A note made at the clinic indicated that Watts had a strong impulse to beat up women, which I discussed. Um, let's see. So, of course, he got away on the one where the lady went in to go grab a pen. So, about 2 weeks later, Diane Williams, 23, called police to report a similar attack. She had seen a young Black man at the complex several times. Each time he was looking for Charles. At noon on November 12th, 1974, the man had knocked on her door and asked the same question. He pushed his way in and began punching and choking her. He ran away when Williams kicked the phone from the receiver. Williams had seen his car and a check of 8 possible vehicles traced to one owned by Watts. Police assembled a lineup and both the first victim and Williams picked out Watts. Arrested in December 1974, Watts, who's now 21, was charged with 2 counts of assault and battery. That day, Watts met with a court investigator on the first assault charge and admitted he had assaulted at least 15 females, but he refused to talk about Steele's murder and demanded an attorney. The lawyer with Watts and immediately told detectives his client wanted to commit himself to the Kalamazoo State Hospital for voluntary treatment. He should not be allowed back on the streets. At the state mental hospital, Watts adjusted to a pleasant schedule of playing pool and basketball. In his initial report, Dr. James wrote, Watts has no special preoccupations. Sorry, apparently I can't read today. He doesn't believe in God. He has never heard any voices, no delusions. He doesn't believe in ESP, no suspiciousness. Nobody is against him, no gross psychiatric symptoms noted, and all mental faculties are intact. They discovered that Watts had last been seen at the Lafayette Clinic a month before his arrest. At the clinic, it is written, stated that he had beaten a number of women this fall and he thinks he's killed 1 or 2 of them by choking. The psychiatrist concluded that though the patient wasn't psychotic, he is impulsive and unable to learn from previous experience. He blames others for his criminal acts. His diagnosis is antisocial personality. What is happening? Yeah, I am very upset here, guys. Because now we lost our spot. Hold on. I really lost my spot. Very unprofessional. I'm so upset. Very unprofessional. Okay, here we go. I found it. I found my spot, guys. Okay. Okay, so the psychiatrist concluded that though the patient wasn't psychotic, he is impulsive and unable to learn. Oh, I already said that. Shit, sorry. Watts's parents again trudged in for interviews, wrote a social worker, and denies any knowledge of his history of assaultive tendencies and incidents, and that seems unlikely, as Carl had at least a 6-year history of assaulting women. What am I drinking? I am drinking Crown and Crown. Crown and Crown. While hospitalized, Watts half-heartedly attempted suicide by hanging himself with a cord from a laundry bag, but he didn't even lose consciousness. He was released from the hospital a couple months later and got a job cleaning a church. In preparation for Watts's trial on the assault charges, a judge ordered an official evaluation at the Center for Forensic Psychiatry in Ann Arbor. So in June 1975, Watts was examined yet again, this time by Dr. Benedict. The defendant remembers the assaults on both victims and says he has been involved in incidences of beating up girls since at least the age of 15. After these types of incidents, he has no special feelings except he generally feels good. During the interview, the doctor described Watts's attitude during the interview as depressed, but when it was over, he became quite cheerful and happy. She also found that Watts was not suffering from mental illness and was competent to stand trial. However, she wrote, this patient is clearly quite dangerous, and his potential for continuous behavior is great. The fact that these damn doctors keep saying, hey, don't release them, and they still do. How was the caramel one? Absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Unless I put it in, I think, the apple cider, which I can't do because I'm out of that. Yeah, it was not It's not good. It's not good at all. Oh my gosh. I swear to you, my life is just not working right now. Today is not my day. Stop. Can you go this way? Thank you. All right. While in the hospital, what just happened here? Okay. While in the hospital, Watts told one psychiatrist that he wanted to get help, but the only specifies he has related in terms of the helping process have been in relation to his legal. Stop. Fools are stupid. He only specifies he has related in terms of the helping process have been in relation to his legal entanglements. I appreciate you. Thank you. When asked if he was concerned about the plight of his victims, Watts bluntly stated no. Watts pleaded no contest to one assault charge and he received a year in jail. Because of lack of evidence, he was never charged in Steele's murder. He had wiggled his way out of serious trouble yet again. Released in mid 1976, Watts returned to Detroit, living with his mother. But the doctor who said Watts didn't learn from his mistakes was wrong. The lesson he took from Kalamazoo: never let his victim see his face. The Ann Arbor newspaper dubbed the killer the son. Stop it. Oh, Mountain Mama. I love you, but stop it. We're not here for that. We're here for the stories, the ones that I can't read. I'm so stuffy in here. The Ann Arbor newspaper dubbed the killer the Sunday morning slasher. 3 young women had been stabbed to death within 6 months in this quiet university town 45 miles west of Detroit. Now chief of police in nearby Saline, he spent 30 years with the force in Ann Arbor, home to the University of Michigan, but the Watts investigation, which consumed Button's life for 2 years, haunts him still. The first, that's enough. We're done. We're not doing this. I can't read with all these colors happening. So please stop with the fireworks, friends. I appreciate you. I appreciate you all. The first to die in Ann Arbor was Shirley Small, a 17-year-old high school student. On April 20th, 1980, after walking home from a party. Fools, I'm trying to read. I know you can hear me in the other room. Small bled to death on the sidewalk in front of the townhouse she shared with her sister. She'd been repeatedly slashed with a scalpel like instrument. 3 months later, Glenda Richmond, the 26-year-old night manager of a diner, was found dead near her front door, stabbed 28 times in the left breast area, possibly with a screwdriver. And Rebecca Huff, 20, a University of Michigan graduate student, was walking to her door in September 19. Did it completely freeze? Shut up. Oh, are we still here? I think I fixed it. I'm so proud of myself. Thanks, guys. Uh that was random. Again, we're not doing this again because I don't like this setup. Hi, how are you? It's nice to see you, Mountain Mama. I appreciate you. Stop doing that. You made my chat get all crazy. Excuse me. I'm trying to read stories. Too many donos. Something happened. But I do appreciate you all, of course. All right. Diner, she was found dead near her front door, stabbed 28 times in the left breast. Okay. And Rebecca Greer Huff, 20, a University of Michigan graduate student, was walking to her door in September 1980 when she was stabbed 54 times with a screwdriver type weapon. We love you. I love you. I don't know how to do the heart thing. Phoenix does it really well. I don't know how to do that. I'm old. Sorry. I appreciate you. All were white females killed at about 4 a.m. on a Sunday in. Was she the best? I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you. Y'all stop it. We don't need to be doing that. Is this for the name change fund? I'm just curious. Is this so I can change my name? All were white females linked at 4 a.m. on Sunday in apartment complexes with excellent lighting. None had been raped or robbed. There were no eyewitnesses and no evidence. Thanks for the donos, too. What did I do? What did I do? I don't even know what's happening. The Ann Arbor police chief announced the formation of a task force to find the killer. Oh my gosh, nail fund reading lessons. Fuck you, Carolyn. Which one do I get to do first? I don't want to do reading lessons. It's because I can't read the big words. I have to sound them out and go slow. It's like I just need Google to read it for me. Maybe if I just do like the word thing, Audible. That's what we're gonna do. Next time we're just gonna have Audible read it for us. That's what's gonna happen. Carolyn, you're an ass. I appreciate you. In the 6 years since his brief stint in Kalamazoo, I'm done. Watts had gotten a job as a mechanic at a Detroit trucking company where his stepfather worked and fathered a child with a girlfriend from childhood. Then in 1978, he met Valera Goodwill at a Detroit disco. They married in August 1979. But Watts hadn't stopped his attacks. He had merely changed tactics. He'd gone from daytime rapping on apartment doors to midnight stealth. Boo boo. Investigating Arthur's tip, Button learned Watts had been arrested. Oh my gosh. Kathy, stop it. Oh, Kathy. Far from professional. Answering a late night report of a prowler had nabbed Watts after a short chase. The prowling charge was dismissed. Watts paid a fine for driving infractions. That episode connected Watts to a series of attacks in Southfield from June to October, when 5 women were assaulted at night by a man who had slipped inside their homes. Each woke to find a man on top of her. In some cases, he had his hands on their genitals. Oh, thank you, Nicholas. I appreciate you. None of the women could describe her attacker in detail, but he matched Watts's general description. During the next year, homicides later linked to Watts showed an escalation in boldness. A series of women were attacked from behind between midnight and 6 a.m. while walking from their car to their front door. October 8th, 1978. Be the dono. Peggy, 22, strangled in Detroit. October 31st, Janine, 44, stabbed. October 11th, Hazel, 23, strangled in Detroit. March 31st, Denise, 23, strangled in Detroit. May 31st, Linda, 27, strangled in Detroit. One murder occurred a month before the first Ann Arbor attack. Then Button discovered the Canada connection. On July 31st, 1980, Irene, 22, of Windsor, Ontario, was walking home at 3:40 a.m. when a man grabbed her from behind and slashed her throat. She lived but couldn't identify her attacker. Her attacker. Damn it! First thing is reading lessons. Thank you for that, Carolyn. Thank you, Donna. The same thing happened to Sandra of Windsor a few months later. She was stabbed from behind and left for dead. She lived but also didn't see her attacker. 4 hours later, Watts's car was recorded leaving Windsor for Detroit. On November 1st, Mary, 30, of Windsor, got a good look at Watts's tactics. She was getting out of her car about 1:30 a.m. when a man in a hooded sweatshirt jogged past. As she walked out her front door, she noticed him stop and tie his shoe.
He then turned to follow her. When she screamed and sprinted for her door, the man ran off. Shown a photo lineup, she immediately went to Watts's picture, but said she couldn't be sure. That night, Watts's car crossed from Windsor to Detroit shortly after the assault once again. Thanks, fools. All right, so we're going to move forward because this is getting too long and obnoxious, and y'all are being rude and sending funds, and I don't like it. Where is little Miss Rainey? Little Miss Rainey has a job. Little Miss Rainey has a job. Imagine that. And she's working. And in fact, she applied for another job, and I'm really excited for her because this is one in which she's going to work with a high-end makeup chain, and she has an interview tomorrow. So I'm very excited to hear how that goes. All right. So Raindrops is her name. That is right. Guys, this is not working out. I'm very upset here. This article is all over the place, and I'm getting very frustrated because it keeps bouncing around on top of me. By the way, fools and Miss Rainey, don't share all the funds. What? I'm so confused. I'm like, is Fools talking to Ariel right now? I can hear him in the other room. Can you guys hear him? We might be able to catch a conversation with this fancy microphone. All right, so Watts admitted to killing Elena, Emily, Anna, Yolanda, Carrie, Suzanne, and Michelle between February and May of 1982. Yeah, Nicholas. What makeup line? I have a makeup line? What's happening? What just happened? Do I have a makeup line? We talk about Miss Queen. Congratulations, my daughter. Oh! Mac. Shh. Don't tell anyone I told you, but it starts with an M. The middle letter is an A, and the last one is a C. I was like, I have a makeup line? What is happening? Typical female. Makeup line? Where is it? Yes, the Mac. The Mac. All right, so Watts was sentenced to the agreed 60 years in 1982. However, shortly after he began serving time, the Texas Court of Appeals ruled that he had not been informed that the bathtub and water he attempted to drown Lori in was considered a deadly weapon. Chester, love you. The ruling reclassified him as a non-violent felon. I look young. I am very old. I am so old. I could probably be somebody's mom in this chat, guaranteed. At the time, Texas law allowed nonviolent felons to have 3 days. You know about good time? 3 days deducted from their sentences for every 1 day served as long as they were well behaved. So Watts was a model prisoner and had enough time deducted from his sentence that he could have been released as early as May 2006. The law allowing early release was abolished after public outcry, but could not be applied retroactively according to the Texas Constitution. So, one thing about Watts, shoot, see, my notes are all jumbled. Carolyn, this is why I didn't do this, because I wasn't ready. This is why. Carl Eugene Watts, even though he admitted to killing all of these people, he actually never went to prison for murder. He found the loophole. And damn it, where are my notes? I'm so unprepared. I'm never doing this again like this. I want to give you the full information here, but he found the loophole where their biggest reason was they wanted to get him off the street. So if they got him off the street for assault, they would try to keep him in for as long as they could, because I think they assumed he was going to be a violent person in prison, and it didn't. It didn't work out that way. Actually, he was charged for one. He was charged for one murder. So in 2004, Michigan Attorney General Mike Cox went on national television asking for anyone to come forward with information in order to try to convict Watts of murder to ensure he was not released. Joseph Foy of Westland, Michigan, came forward to say that he had seen a man fitting Watts's description for the murder of Helen Dutcher, a 36-year-old woman who died after being stabbed 12 times on December 1st. Foy identified Watts by his ears, which he described as his eyes. Stop it. Black can smell this dono. Oh, Kathy. Kathy's getting down and dirty over here. Okay. Foy identified Watts by his eyes, which he described as being evil and devoid of emotion. Although Watts had immunity from prosecution for the 13 killings he had admitted to in Texas, he had no immunity agreement in Michigan. Before his 2004 trial, law enforcement officials asked the judge to allow the Texas confessions into evidence, which he agreed. Kathy, it's true. He just went live. Watts was promptly charged with the murder of Helen Dutcher. A Michigan jury convicted him on November 17th after hearing eyewitness testimony from Joseph Foy. On December 7th, he was sentenced to life imprisonment. 2 days later, authorities in Michigan started making moves to try him for the murder of the Western Michigan University student Gloria Steele, who was stabbed to death in 1974. The closing arguments concluded on July 26th. The following day, the jury returned a guilty verdict. Watts was sentenced to life imprisonment without parole on September 13th. He was incarcerated in Michigan, and he died of prostate cancer on September 21st. But originally, when he did go to prison, he had immunity, and they tend to think that he is one of the most prolific serial killers in the United States. It's just the fact that he had immunity, so therefore he couldn't be charged with all of those other ones. But it is said that he's got a lot more victims, and I am sorry, that was very unprepared, and I do not like being unprepared like that. So I love you all, and I think that I'll never do it like this again because that was weird. But I hope you all keep watching me, preferably not in this way because I like the vertical position instead of horizontal. Just my thought. So broken that people can be given immunity for murders. Yeah. Oh, Malcolm, this system in this country is awful. Plug that dono. No, Jeremy, we don't do that here. Later. Much love. Okay. Bye, Wyatt. See you later. Love you. Bye. I don't know where you are, Kathy. Kathy, I love you. So anyway, I did get a really good case from Jason. Jason, I don't know if Jason's in the chat, but I caught him over on Chester's Live, and he dropped a name, Jason did, And I am going to look at that one this week because Miss Rainey does not have Thanksgiving plans. She will probably be all by her lonesome and sad and scared. So it gives me a lot of time to think about crime and research things and do it to my full ability and not half-assed like this crap was because I knew I wasn't ready. But I tried it. Not doing that again. So anyway, I love you all. I don't even know how to end this live. Oh, I see the button. Okay. Um, so I love you. You all are amazing. Thanks for the donos. I appreciate it. It's going to go to the nail fund, the name change, and first and foremost, reading lessons. Thank you, Carolyn, for that. I appreciate you. You'll be in Reno. Oh, I appreciate you, Jeremy. I think we're expecting snow here. I'm glad I didn't go live in America. I stayed until the end. Thank you, Phoenix. I appreciate you. Next time it'll be more informed. We're gonna work on this. Remember, it's evolving. It's a work in progress. So I hope you like the space. Change name to Raindrop. But anyway, I love you all. Have a good night. Sleep well. One last dono. Love you. Thanks, Carolyn. I appreciate you. Let's go into the reading fund. We're gonna work on that. I don't know if Babbel helps with that, but we'll figure it out. So I love you all. Have a good evening and stay safe and always flaunt your cash apps and don't cook with green beans. I love you. Bye. Gotta go. Bye.